Hello everyone, I'm RC Duke. On my last video, I got a comment from Slick King Nitro Z. Said his T-Maxx wasn't shifting. Here you go, brother. It's real simple. Once you get your transmission torn down, take it apart, and it's the big gears. Inside those, the biggest gears in your transmission. You just slide it out. This front gear slides off. And then this piece right here on the back side, it slides on there like that, and it's just held on by a little C-clip. You remove the C-clip, and there's a little pin, some little holes on this thing right here. Right there, you just push that pin through and through, and this will slide right off. Then you have this left right here. And you can slide this gear off. Give me a second, I'm working with one hand here. My other hand's holding my phone. You slide that off. Now make sure on the inside of this gear, see them little metal bars right there? That's what that little rod grabs when it's spinning. Make sure them things are not messed up. Because if it's too smooth, if it's rounded off in there, and the little bar, it won't grab it. It's just going to slip over and you won't have second gear. It's just going to keep spinning. So you got to make sure them little pins are in there and it's not rounded off in there. Right there. That's what the little pin grabs onto. But this is what you need to look at right here. That little pin right there. That right there. That little black piece. Got to make sure that's moving up and down. That it's not stuck in there. If it's stuck, just loosen up the little set screw that's in there, back it out until it comes loose. And barely, I mean barely, put a little bit of oil on it. Just rub it on with your fingers. And make sure it's moving in and out of there. You can back that all the way out. It's supposed to have a little spring in there if you want. And maybe put a drop of oil in there. But first I would just back it out some, make sure that's real loose. And if it's working good in and out, it's got to have a little tension on it. But you don't want it too loose, then it's going to shift too fast. If it's shifting real fast right away, when you put it back in, and it won't sound like it's shifting, because sometimes if it's too loose, when you give it the gas, it'll just shift right away to second. It won't sound like you got second. You have to tighten down that little screw. And just a little bit at a time, you run it, and you'll see. And then you can start setting it. Set it a little bit at a time. Turn it, run it, and see where it's shifting at. Till you get it to where you want it to be shifting. But you have to take your transmission apart if you can't get it to work at all. Make sure that little arm's working in and out of there. That little black arm. And like I said, just rub a little bit of grease on that arm. But make sure it's not too tight. If it's too tight, it won't come out when it's spinning. And just move it with your finger. I can do it if I had both my hands on it. And make sure it comes in and out. That it's not too tight. And put it back in your transmission. Put it together and see where it's shifting at. Unless this thing is broken, you shouldn't have no trouble with it shifting. And like I said, them little pieces right there in the inside are good grabbing. So take your transmission apart and check it out. It's real simple. And you can get the parts for cheap, so on the internet. But that's what it probably is. Either it's too tight and it's not shifting at all, or it's too loose and it's shifting right away as soon as you hitting the trigger, because that's what my T-Maxx was doing, my T-Maxx Classic. As soon as I was hitting the trigger, not my T-Maxx Classic, my S-Max, my old S-Max. As soon as I was hitting the trigger, it was shifting, and didn't sound like it was shifting at all. And so I went in and I tightened it up, just turn it a little bit at a time, that little set screw. Then I'd run it, and you can, after a while, you heard it start to shift like it was supposed to. And I just tightened it up to where I wanted to fit the shift, and that was it. So either it's too tight or too loose in your transmission. Make sure that little arm is working up and down and not broken. And that's it. And you slide everything back together, and you're good to go. Real simple, brother. So there you go. And that's what makes your transmission shift right there. Alright, I hope that helps you out. That's for Slick King Nitro Z. There you go. Alright, brother. Everybody have a safe and blessed day. Island RC Duke out.